Joe McElderry. He won the X Factor, went on to release 4 hit albums, and also big success with ITV's Pop Star to Opera Star, and then on to Channel 4's The Jump. Well, his early success has in no way slowed him down, and he's about to embark on a 100-date tour across the UK, and the good news is for us, he's stopping in April in Clacton. He came to see me last week, and I started by reminiscing about that X Factor moment and the local lad that he beat. You beat Whittam's, which is just around the corner from
us. It's just round the corner here, isn't it?
Yeah, Ollie, but I expected Ollie to be in here actually banging on the door going, I want a word with that Joe McElderry. It was a terrific performance back then. I know you've talked about it many, many times, but of course it was what got your name and made your fame, really, of course. But what gets me is that it just wasn't the X Factor after that, because there were 2 other major television shows which you also won, and that's got to be quite something. You did the triple, didn't you?
A hat trick.
Yeah.
No, do you know what? When you go on them shows, you kind of can't really go in with the attitude of like, I'm going to win it, because you never know. It's all, a lot of it. I mean, obviously the jump was more based on a skill thing, because you were literally going through each thing, was determining how far you got in the competition, so it wasn't like a public vote. The other 2 shows, you never know what the public are going to want. You never know whether they're going to like a certain song that you sing, certain performance. So I mean, yes, I worked hard and I tried my best and I rehearsed all the time. But if people did, it was the people that voted, you know, which is incredible. It almost feels nicer when it's like that.
Yeah.
Because it means they're enjoying what you do, which is really nice.
Yeah, and it must have been quite something for you as a guy. All of a sudden, there you are. You know, from the sort of humble beginnings, really, let's be honest. And then all of a sudden you are known to millions overnight.
I was just saying to somebody before, it's a bit of an adjustment. It takes quite a while to kind of accept that, you know, and be like, okay, so this is my new normal.
Yeah.
Even though it's never normal. My life is not normal, but it's fun.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
And 4 albums under your belt.
Yes.
And another little accolade on your part is that you're the only X Factor winner to have had 4 albums out off the back of X Factor.
Yeah,
which is,
crazy,
again, that's amazing. And it goes to show how fickle the music industry is,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
100%. I mean, it's a tough industry, you know. I think no matter what level you're on, whether you're selling out worldwide stadiums or you're busking in a pub, it's a tough industry for everyone, you know. I don't think it gets any easier for anyone, you know. It's a very competitive industry. It's fast changing. I mean, I'm not sitting here and complaining about it, because I really enjoy what I do and I love it. And if I didn't, I wouldn't do it. But it's tough. It's a tough industry, and you've got to keep your eyes and ears open, and you know, you've got to just get on with it and work hard. But I like that, you know. I like a bit of a challenge, and I think if everything came easy, you'd never kind of appreciate it. So I enjoy the challenge, and I'm always up for it.
And your voice adjusts itself to whatever is required, it would seem, as well, whether it's blues, whether it's a ballad, whether it's opera.
Yeah.
You seem to be able to adapt that. Is that something that you're consciously working on all the time?
Yeah, because I have this thing that a lot of record labels do it, and they always ask, like, right, so what are you? Are you this? Are you that? Like, and you always get, and in a lot of interviews, I'm asked about it as well. Like, it's like, right, pick a box and stay in it. And I just think, well, why? You know, if somebody's coming to see a concert of mine, there's 9 times out of 10, there's probably going to be 3 songs on the album that they might not be their favourites, you know, and then they might have 4 that they absolutely love, 3 that they might skip, you know. That's what I do when I listen to an album, you know. There's certain songs on an album that you like, and I think that's the same at a concert, you know. So if you can sing the different styles, why not add them all into the show and take people on a little bit of a musical journey? Because I think it makes the show more interesting, you know, and it's not all the same. And I mean, I put a lot of pressure on myself, and it makes my job harder to put a set list together. But I like that, you know, I can go from a pop song and then do some opera, you know, because it changes it up a bit, and it makes people go, oh. And I love actually watching people's faces when, if they come to a show for the first time of mine and they can't quite grasp what's going on, and they're a bit like, hang on a minute, you've just gone from like a really up-tempo pop song and now you're singing Ness and Doma. And you can see on some people's faces are like, what on earth is going on here? But at the end of the day, people come out and they enjoy it because it's different.
Yeah.
And I like being different, I don't mind.
Yeah, and that's going to be the secret to your success in years to come, because, I mean, how old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
23.
23. Oh, yeah, the world is your lobster. And I say lobster because, of course, you're South Shields boy, aren't you?
Yes.
Couldn't resist it, really.
Yes.
But no, it's true though, isn't it? I mean, you've got years in front of you, and yet you've had all this success. And I suppose, have you been speaking to anybody that you would consider sort of close in the music industry who's been guiding you along the way about how to deal with this and how to keep that going, that momentum?
I think, I mean, I watch a lot of people's careers, you know, and I watch what they've done, and all I want is to be able to do it for a lot of years, you know. That's the main thing. And as long as I'm working and having fun with it, I don't mind, you know, like that I'm happy doing that. And I think that to me is more. To me, it's more. I think I'll be happy if I look back in 10 years' time and think, wow, like I've had a great career so far, and hopefully it'll last longer than that. You never know in this industry, and I don't want to tempt prophecies, but you know, I just want to be able to say in years to come, wow, like I've been able to do this for a long. I've had a career.
Yes.
You know, not just like 3 number ones and then never worked again. So I think with that, I'm just willing to try different things and have fun with it. You know, and as long as I'm having fun, I'll keep doing it. And as long as people come to the shows, I'll do them. You know, I love it, and I really enjoy what I do.
And you work hard too. Let's not put.
It doesn't feel like work because I enjoy it so much.
Yeah, sure. But you're putting the hours in, you're doing the work, you're touring, all that, which of course has to be done. And there are many who would say, well, I could probably dine out on the fact that I've been on 3 major television programs, won all 3 of them, had 4 albums. I could put my feet up now for the rest of my life if I want to. I could dine out on this for the rest of my life, you know.
Well, I genuinely love it. I love touring. It's my favourite part of, like, any part of what I do. Like, just going out on stage with the band, performing songs, having a connection with an audience. Like, I absolutely could do it every night for a year. Like, I won't tell the management that because they'll
Get an extra gig in there. Do they do 2 a.m. gigs at places?
No, I do. I absolutely love it, and I have so much fun.
Tony Fisher.
This is BBC Essex.
I'm back in 2009, and he is my special guest today. You can catch him as part of a 100-date tour. He's stopping off at the Princess Theatre in Clacton in April, and he came to see me last week, and in spite of all the diversions from X Factor, pop star to opera star, and Channel 4's The Jump, his first love is always performing and touring.
And that is where I'm at my happiest. You know, out of everything I do in my job, I love all of the things I do. I love doing the TV things, but when I'm on stage, just in a venue, with an audience, like, that is all I ever dreamed of doing. So if I can do that, you know, I'm going out for 100 shows. That's how many we're doing so far, and like, I can't wait. I'm so slight heart palpitations with the nerves, but
100 shows. Yeah. That's quite an ask, isn't it?
Yeah, but I love it, and it'll be fine, and we'll have a great time, and I just can't wait to get into that kind of stage of the show where everything's settled, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's when the fun starts, you know, that's when you can just go out every night and have a laugh, you know.
Well, you'll get a fantastic response here in Essex. You're coming to Clacton in April to the Princess Theatre, which is a great venue.
Yeah, I performed there last year.
Right.
And there were a great audience, actually.
Yeah.
I had just been on holiday, I remember, I think, and I came back with a lovely suntan.
You've got a bit of a tan going on now, actually.
Do I?
Joe. Yeah.
I don't know how. I do not know how.
Maybe it's just the Essex winds.
Maybe. I haven't been anywhere. I've been up in Bradford for a few months performing. So and the weather was absolutely horrendous. I've had snow. So I don't know how I've got a tan. Maybe it's the stage light.
Yeah, it could be here. We're quite well lit in this studio, aren't we? That's the thing. And as far as your set is concerned for Clacton, what can we expect? You've mentioned there that you like to throw in a few surprises along the way. I mean, you obviously don't want to give too much away.
Well, this is called the Evolution Tour. So it's I've started rehearsals and I've started working on the set list, but it changes by the hour all the time because you can stand and rehearse and you can never have too many rehearsals. I'm a one for that, but you can rehearse a show over and over again without an audience, and then as soon as you get an audience, the whole thing changes because I like a lot of my show. I like to work on kind of audience participation and kind of really involving them in the show, and so it'll probably change from now till the show in Clacton, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But the way it's planned at the minute, it's all about kind of how I've changed over the past 5 years. It's going through all of the musical like experience that I've had over the past 5 years. So it's going to bring. I think there's a lot of new stuff that people are going to hear that they might not have heard before. Stuff that I've never really performed in a live show before, but also things that I haven't performed for a while. And that'll probably bring back a lot of memories, you know. So it's a little bit of a storyline, I suppose, throughout the show, which will be quite nice because it'll bring back a lot of memories for people. And that some of the songs will trigger certain snippets of my career, I think, over the past 5 years.
I can say, because 5 years, you think of 2009 being yesterday, but that is 5 years. It's a long time in the music industry these days.
I'll tell you. It is a long time.
You're a shadow of the man we saw, that fresh-faced young lad back in 2009.
It seems like yesterday, actually. It does seem like yesterday in certain things.
Yeah.
But then when I think of actually some of the things that I've done, it seems like ages ago. It's and when I think how different I am as a person from 5 years ago, I was so young then. Yeah. And I mean, I'm still young now, but I have matured a lot over the past 5 years. And you know, you grow up, you learn about the industry, you learn about the job, and I think I'm a lot more relaxed now than I used to. Just be so nervous 24/7. Everything I did, interviews, concerts, TV interviews, I used to be so nervous, and I kind of have relaxed into it a bit now, and I'm a bit more chilled, I think.
Those nerves early on, particularly in X Factor, they didn't appear to me as a viewer to come across at all. You seemed so assured on stage, and I think that's probably why people voted for you.
It's like the swan. I say the swan. It's the nice, graceful swan on the top of the lake, and the legs are like flapping underneath. Yeah. Because I was a child. I was a teenager. I'd never been away from home before, and you're getting thrown into this kind of limelight. And I think for a while, I mean, maybe it didn't look like that, but I certainly felt like rabbit in the headlights for at least the first year and a bit. Yeah. And that's fine, you know, like I accepted that, and I was like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing yet, you know. And I think it's just like any job, you need time to settle into it, you know. And I suppose I was serving me apprenticeship, shall we say.
Yeah, but what a way. Most people don't serve their apprenticeship in front of, 12 million people or whatever it was at the time that were watching.
But an amazing experience, you know, and I didn't not enjoy it. I had an amazing time. Yeah. And I have so many happy memories of it, and I didn't have any point in it where I thought, oh my God, I can't do this. But I just needed that time, I suppose, to grow up and just be like, okay, I've got it now. I think I understand it.
And it's testament to you as well that here you are, 5 years on with 4 albums, and you've kept in the spotlight too, which you've got to do, haven't you? Whether you like it or not, whether you're nervous or not, if you're not in the spotlight, you tend to fade away.
Yeah, I mean, it all kind of adds into its own little things, you know. You've got to do one thing for other things to work, and you have to do one thing for the other thing to work. It's kind of like a puppet machine. Not that I'm a puppet, but it's like the strings all have to balance out, you know. Sure. And to keep everything turning, you know. It's just, and I think I've understood that as well, which took a while.
Yeah. Do you get back up home much?
Yeah, I mean, I still try and live there as much as possible. Yeah. Obviously, I'll be away for most of this year and back and forwards and stuff, but I quite enjoy that. I enjoy travelling around, and as long as I get back every now and again, I'm all right.
So you get down the big market, have a couple of beers, can you, these days? Or
the big market? Do you know, actually, I've never even been out in the big market.
No, I went a couple of times, but that was it, just to say I did.
People down here probably won't know what the big market is, or is it that famous?
Yes. Yeah, it's it's the place that everybody goes to in the middle of Newcastle, isn't it?
It's one of the most scariest places in Newcastle, so if you go, don't blame me if you have a bad time.
I was a lot younger, I have to say. There's a place actually called the Rupali Curry House in the big market where they do curry hell. Oh. And it's where they wrote Viz magazine quite a lot of the time. Wow. And you go up there, and if you finish it, you get it for free. But it's so hot. Right. That few people have done it.
Yeah, well, I'll miss that one out because I'm not a fan of spicy food.
Well, there you are.
I don't like it.
That's why we didn't see your picture up there. It's been a pleasure meeting you today, Joe. All the very best. We look forward to seeing you on the 11th of April in, of course, the wonderful Palace Theatre in Clacton. And come and see us again soon, won't you?
I will. Thank you very much for having us.
Take care, mate. Cheers. So Joe McElderry, just to correct there, the Princess Theatre in Clacton is where he'll be on the 11th of April. And what a lovely fella as well. You'll be able to see pictures and hear that interview again on the BBC iPlayer and on our Facebook site. And tomorrow, my guest after 2 o'clock is Alexander O'Neill. Great guest.